Intentional living, I was not prepared for that. It's hard, but it's rewarding at the same time.
Coming in, I thought I knew a lot about that because I was always a very involved person and kind of was one of those people that liked to build community wherever I went. But Amate House completely flipped that on its head and was like, you're wrong, basically.
I'm Jazz. Served 2013 to 14 at McKinley Park, and I worked at Little Brothers.
I'm Rosie. I did 2013, 2014, and I worked at the Blessed Sacrament Teen Center with King Cozy.
I was never community involved unless it was my close friends or people I grew up with in my family. So even applying for Amate, it was a challenge.
People think community is formed in the times when you're having fun, or it's the community nights, or it's the weekends whenever you're just hanging out. But for me, community was formed in the really hard moments.
I think it broadened my understanding of people in general, because I was so used to just myself and keeping things in until it got to the point where I was around all these people who actually showed they loved me, they cared about me, even despite the things I didn't accept about myself. They were like, we still love you. It made me want to share more. Hey, I want to talk to this person. I want to be around this person. I want to love on this person. So that's what I appreciate the most about being in the community.
And not being afraid to be vulnerable, and to share your true self and your true feelings with these other basically strangers, and trusting that they're gonna honor you and respect that space that you have created.
Definitely more frugal in how I spend, how I live, how I move. Just making sure everything I do, not just with budgeting, but everything I do in my life is intentional. I think it stems definitely from Amate, because before I wasn't thinking about it.
It makes me think back on myself, okay, when things aren't working, I'm well, what energy am I putting into it? We wanted a community, so we really invested, and I feel we really developed that our year. And whenever I have issues, I'm do I really want this in my life? And if I don't, I'm why don't I change it and put my energy towards something else that's worthwhile and that's going to serve me better? Jasmine was about to go and help her sister move, and I was please take me with you. And so I was just kind of a fly on the wall to her family that day. But it was perfectly what I needed, and she knew, and all of her family was very welcoming. And I think that's the part of Amate that you don't think about whenever you're applying or whenever you're first there, is you really get to know all of these people and their family and their people in their life that support them, realize the impact that you have on somebody. And that was just because Jasmine's sure, you can come and help me move my sister, I guess. But it's opening up your world to someone else, and that's what I always loved about Jasmine.
Yeah, and I never would have imagined that I would even combine that Amate community with my family so much. Rosie and I, we laugh easy, so it was always jokes and fun and gossip, of course. It's still that unconditional love, and there's still that acceptance. I feel I couldn't have built that friendship on the level that it is anywhere else but Amate. So it just made you want to open up, even probably a little too much opening up, but for the most part, and it makes you feel warm and fuzzy, and just when you think about Amate, all you think about is love.